Welcome, golf fans, pursuers of knowledge and the almighty dollar. This is your golf guru bringing you the American Express. This is my Before the Lock show where I give you my best value plays from 7K and down. I'm going to do one and done. I'm going to do ownership projections, weather, everything you need to know before the lock. And first and foremost, thank you for stopping by, and let's jump into this. Okay, so I do have a giveaway going on. It's my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. And I believe we're 16 subscribers away from hitting this. So once I hit the 1,000, I'm going to randomly pick 5 winners. And all you need to do to get into this contest is enter by telling me who do you think is going to win the Amex. And you'll be entered in. And then I will reach out to you through YouTube comments. I also will announce the winners on one of my shows once we do hit the 1,000. Maybe it's this week. It might be next, but hopefully it is soon. So do me the favor, if you like what you've been seeing, or if you're new and you like what you're seeing, hit that subscribe button, no skin off your back. I know even if you've not signed into YouTube, it's your email address and that's about it. And hit that subscribe button, keep us doing what we're doing, providing this content for free. Okay, real quickly, let's talk about PrizePicks. If you do not know what PrizePicks are, or what it is a props projection site. As I've stated multiple times, I think it's a good way to diversify your funds. Gives you a little, I think, a better edge, especially when you're doing the PGA stuff. As I mentioned, they're getting their information from Vegas, and I really just don't think Vegas does a very good job of really knowing what's going on in the PGA Tour. That's my own perception. And if you have not signed up yet, and you are still new to sign up, I would give it a test run this weekend. All you got to do is sign up, use my promo code Golf Guru. They're going to match you up to 100%, up to $100. And again, you can play any sport. It doesn't have to be golf. But it's just betting the over-under on the different projections. The more guys that you put in, the higher that you have a chance, or higher you will multiply your money. All right, so real quickly, what am I going with this week for the American Express? I'm going to do actually for the whole tournament, which is kind of rare, but I really liked some of the numbers that they were providing. So I like Sanjay M for sure to finish under 19th place for the tournament. I still like Russ Hindley. I had one of my subscribers ping me. Just said, hey, Russ has missed the cut here 4 times in a row. And that is definitely true, but he's playing some of the best golf he's played. This course should be a perfect fit. So when I typically weigh, if it's just on the data side, I will take recent form and course fit over, hey, he's missed the cut here 4 times. But, you never know. Also on the flip side, you've got the possible burnout factor, right, of going to that playoff and losing in a heartbreaking fashion. So I wouldn't blame you either way, but I'm still going to go that he can do better than 27th place. Cameron Tregali, this course should fit him very well. I'm pretty high on him. And, he has a trouble on Sundays, but I think he'll definitely finish under 29th. And then Will Z, it's kind of crazy that even Vegas has got him projected around 29th. That's just where we've been seeing his game. A lot of it's on the putting, but even as, he hasn't been hitting the irons as well. So I actually got him. I took him as the over, that he'll end up 30th or over, possibly missing a cut. So that is where I fall down. So, go what you want. They also have, I'm trying to think what else I was interested in. I think it was Fantasy Score. The birdies one is a little hard because, right, they pretty much, you kind of feel like they're given 4 birdies on any of the courses, 4 par 5s that are all very gettable. So you're trying to figure out, can these guys get, 2 more birdies or not? So just kind of keep that in your mind if you go with birdies or better. But that was another way I was looking to attack for the first round. But ultimately, I wanted to just, for the 4 days, you put your money in once and you've got action for that whole time. And then last but not least, you've got a couple options, right? So there's flex play, which if you do 4 picks like I did and you only hit 3 out of the 4, you still get 1.5 extra money, whatever you put in. But if you hit them all 4, you 5 extra money, which if you think about it on a prop bet, you're getting, 500 to 1. Or 5 to 1, you look at however you want. What I always go with in this kind of prize pick format, I've done pretty well. I don't want to say I've done amazing, but definitely won more than I've lost. The power play, where I like to go with 4 correct picks, I 10x my money. So again, you put $100 in, you can make 1,000. You put $25 in, you make $250. So that's where I'm at. But you guys go where you want. Okay. Let's get into this. So real quick, if you've watched the previous shows for the American Express, I always leverage comp courses if it makes sense. But I always show them either way. I mentioned, I think it was, I don't know if it was for the Plantation, for the Tournament of Champions. That was a little tough one. But the Sony, I think it was very applicable to use comp courses. I think here, it's kind of a quirky course, is also a good place to use comp courses. The ones that I like is RSM, RBC, the Players, the Honda. You've got 2 out of 4 of those are Pete Dye courses. Of course, they're played a Pete Dye course. RBC, I think, is a really good fit. Pete Dye, it's a par 71, it's Bermuda. You got to make sure you keep it in play there. You got to kind of be more of a plotter. RSM's got a bit of water. That is a par, I believe it's a par 72, around the same yardage as here, 7,100 yards. The Players around 7,100 yards, par 72 Pete Dye. The Honda falls in that category. And then Sanderson Farms is a little unique. It is Bermuda greens. It is not a Pete Dye, but there's a lot of correlation of guys who've done well there, also done well here. I think Sanderson Farms is one of the tougher courses. I don't think it's the toughest, but it's a long, tight track, 7,400 yards with a lot of trees. So if you don't drive it straight, you got to be a really good ball striker to do well at Sanderson Farms. And then you can kind of see the guys that pop up. If you just run the Pete Dye correlation, Abraham Answer's right up top, Si Woo's up there, Corey Connors as well. I think even Rahm does well on Pete Dye courses. So just some names there. All right. Let's go jump into the analysis, the 7K guys and below, and we'll do ownership projections, weather, and then I'll come back, summarize, get you one and done. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I am doing the one and done. So yeah, let's go do the analysis. Okay, so I jumped over into Fantasy National, and I always mention this is my favorite tool, and it's great for golf analysis, and I'm going to leave it at there. If you guys have watched me for a while, you know, it's all pretty much from the data analysis side. This is what I use. I'm going to be looking at the DraftKings pricing, but you can use this for Yahoo, FanDuel, for these picks. I am keeping it to the last 12 rounds. I always look at recent form. And I'm not putting any filters on. You might ask why. Why would you not put Pete Dye and less than 7,200 yards and par 72 and all that, Bermuda? Because once I do that, it is going to pull a lot of older data. And golfers are an up and down, they go up and down. It just happens. And I believe that, the guys that are playing well at this time are the guys that we want to look at. So with that said, I think I got 11 guys identified. It's only saying 5 here, but that's the 5 that I like the most. But I've got 11 guys that I think are all decent plays below 7,000. And I'm going to give you guys the information, and then you guys make your decisions from there. I mean, a side note, I'm always very transparent with you guys. And, there's times I'm going to tell you I've done very well at these courses and predicting the guys that are going to do well. This is one of the tracks, and probably a lot of the analysts have said this, I would hope, that it is tough to really find the guys we want to play or that we're super excited about, except, outside of the Rahms and Cantlays, or even Abraham Answers, but I don't even think he's that great of a play. That's my own personal opinion. He's someone that I'll be fading a little bit. I'm not going to fade him 100%, but I will be fading Answer a little bit. But anyways, where I'm going with all that is, I give you guys all this analysis so you can also make your own decisions, which I think is pretty unique. There's a lot of folks out there that, are now all of a sudden becoming golf analysts. I've been doing this for, quite a while now. And it's just interesting now that the betting and everything, the betting market is where it's at, how many guys have come out of the woodwork. So ultimately what I'm telling you guys is make your own decisions, use the information I'm giving you. Just don't go on who I'm picking, because especially for this tournament, because like I said, I think it's going to be a little bit of a upset or shocker. That's my own thoughts. I don't think it's going to be the Rahm or Cantlay that wins this thing. I think it's going to be someone that, we were not expecting. That's my own personal opinion. Okay, so the first guy that I'm going to talk about is Adam Schenk. As if you've been with me for a while, I've been on Adam Schenk. He's still, elite tee to green. He putts really well on Bermuda, and, it's the off the tee. You can see over the last 12 rounds, so that's the last 3 tournaments. He struggled a little bit. You can see the birdies have dipped a bit. And you can see it's been, Shriners is Bermuda, decent showing at the Zozo, Mayakoba. That was a cut. And I forgot what the Zozo is. It's over in Japan. I think it's bent, but I'm not 100% sure. The Houston Open, that is, of course, Bermuda. And then you got the Sony. He's played here about 4 times and made the cut 3 times. Best was a T14. So that's just some very high level. But again, this is kind of the mini model that I think is most important for this course. The proximity to pin, 150 to 175, is 25% of their iron shots at the 3 different courses. That is the highest. So that's why that's in there. Then these 4 categories. You can see projected ownership's not too bad right now, 3%, so less than 5, so it's not bad. Let's go click on Mr. Shankoponymous and see what we got here. So, he bangs the ball out there, 300. Driving accuracy, not the best, but not bad. 60%. I like guys, anything at 60 or over, I'm good. And I think you do need to be somewhat accurate here. It's not going to kill you if you're a little wide, but, it's always good. Fairways, you can attack pins. You can see what I talked about on Bermuda. Gains almost a quarter stroke against the field. Can play in a wind. There might be a little wind on Saturday. We'll look at the weather. I actually haven't looked at it recently, so we'll do that. But last I checked, Saturday was the only day I saw that anything could really hamper. And then we just look at what's been going on recently. Been really good on approach. So game with his irons in his last 5 events. I would guess at the Zozo he gained 2 strokes. So I guess he gained there. I don't know the Mayakoba. But the events that we can see stroke gain data, he gained on with his irons. And he gained with the putter. I mean, he had a crazy putting outing at the Shriners where he, had a chance, was in the hunt. But you can also see, did pretty well at the Houston, gained 2 strokes. So if he just goes out and plays the golf that he typically can play and what he was doing in the summer, we'll be good to go. And like I said, these guys, I'm all just best case scenario, get you a top 20 would be awesome. Anything above that is gravy. But some of his best finishes, of course, have been recent. So the John Deere, which that's been greens, but somewhat of applicable course. You see he played there a couple times, done well. Valero, that's Bermuda. Sanderson Farms, that's Bermuda. Quail Hollow, where Wells Fargo's played, that's Bermuda. Puerto Rico Open, I'm guessing that's Paspalum. It's either one or the other, and I think Paspalum and Bermuda are very close. You see that I mentioned the Amex, he played there back in 2020 at a 14th. So some good comparable course. RSM was down here at a 23rd. That was back in 2018. So I like Adam Schenk. I'm going to stick with it and play a little bit of him when I get down there. Dylan Wu, he's just been playing good golf, and he's not one of my favorites, but I will sprinkle him in. He's doing everything I want from an analytics modeling perspective. You see ownership's a little more than Schenk. You see the birdies have been kind of up. Last 3 tournaments, made the cut. Had a T20 just recently, a 51, a 46. Missed the cut at Sanderson Farms. And then the Fortinet's never played here before, of course. He just graduated off the Corn Ferry. He hits about 298, a little over 60% driving accuracy. The putting on Bermuda, which what we have is a little negative, but pretty close to neutral. Just remember, when you're at 0.04, that's really nothing that you can grasp from that. But this is a good picture here. I mean, it's off the tee that causes his problems. And when I say that, I should reemphasize, he gets dinged because he doesn't hit the ball as far, he's not hitting at 315, 330, 340 on average. Even though he could be hitting fairways, he's getting dinged on the distance. So gaining strokes off the tee means you hit the ball far and you also hit the fairway. So that's why, like a DeChambeau or a Rahm, Xander, some of the guys that can poke it out there, JT, that are also accurate, that's where you're going to gain. But he does do the thing. So over the last 5 rounds, he's hitting the irons around the green. Putting is at least neutral. We don't have a ton of data on him. But you can see, since he's pretty much come off the Corn Ferry, the U.S. Open, which is pretty impressive, made the cut there, had a 31st, made the cut at the Fortinet. He missed the cut at Sanderson, but that's a tough track, a 46, a 51, a 20. So, again, for whatever he was, 6,800, I think is a solid play down here, 6,900. CT Pan, I touted him. I think he was actually one of my top 15 picks. I just got to, I take that back. No, he was not a top 15. I mentioned him as a favorite bet. He's 150 to 1, but he is going to be one of my top value plays. I just see everything here that fits him, and I'll go in a little deeper. Now, you could say, again, course history, only made the cut once, had a T51, but, pretty solid golf. Best showing recently was a T6 at Fortinet, which is the old Safeway. Sanderson Farms, where I think there is correlation, a T11. But his last outing, he missed the cut. But you can see from a modeling perspective, everything's green to light green, so that's all good. You can see birdies dropped off in his last tournament. Let's go click on CT Pan and just get a little better understanding. So again, he's pretty accurate, 61%. Doesn't hit the ball, on average over 300, but 298, that's plenty of distance. You can look at this and get a little nervous, but again, I'm not too scared of that, and we'll understand why in a second. So you can see Sanderson Farms, he gained 2.5 strokes. That's on Bermuda. And where his one single win is at the RBC Heritage, Pete Dye course. You got to keep it in play. Really tiny green, so you got to be really good with the irons. And you got to be able to put on Bermuda, which he gained 6 strokes with a putter that week. So, no reason why he can't. The Honda, he had a 3rd. that is also Bermuda. The RSM, he had a 6. Good comp course, that's Bermuda. The Wyndham, he had a 2nd back in 2018, that's Bermuda. And actually, gained 9 strokes with the iron, but lost with the putter. So, long story short, I like CT Pan. Like I said, if you don't want to play him on DFS, if you do like to bet and want to put a little bit on him, 151 is always a nice hit. Moving down, Davis Riley, another Corn Ferry guy that has been doing really well, been good from a showdown perspective. The guy, if I believe, so is very elite with the driver and the putter, but you can see he makes birdies, and it's kind of Jekyll and Hyde, right? A T7 at Bermuda, then missed the cut, then a T29 at the Houston Open, missed the cut at RSM, and then a T20. So you could say, well, he's due to miss the cut if he stays in that kind of formula. But like I said, he can poke the ball out there, average driving distance 308, and he's pretty accurate, over 60%. Green and reg is 70. He does gain over his short little career when he putts on Bermuda and POA. And we don't have the results, but I'm guessing it's Bermuda greens at Bermuda, and I'm with gaining almost 10 strokes on the field that you had to putt pretty well. The Houston Open, I think I already mentioned, is Bermuda, and the Sony Open, Bermuda. He did miss the cut here, lost about a stroke on RSM, and that is Bermuda. Just going to scroll down and see if I see anything else that pops up. I'm going to click on this. There was one of these guys, yeah. So both his best finishes, as in wins, that came on the Corn Ferry were also on Bermuda. And I think let's go back here. All right. So I think I looked at San Antonio. That was Bermuda. And then his Panama Championship, it was Bermuda too. So again, kind of loose correlation, but and you can see from a ball striking perspective, everything's good. I don't like that proximity so much from 150, but everything else is telling me. So for 6,800, I like Davis Riley as a play. Hammer and Hank, he kind of let me down. I think he missed the cut at the Sony Open by a stroke. I think the cut line moved to 5, if I remember correctly. He was at 4. Again, don't quote me on that, but that's what I think I remember. But he's played here 3 times, made the cut twice at a T17. Just hoping he gets back into that summer form. I think he's a solid play. We'll take a quick look at him for you guys. Same thing, pretty similar to the other guys I was talking about. Let's go see here. So, like I said, the Rocket, that's Bent Greens. He had a good showing. The Travelers is actually a Pete Dye course, but I don't think it's really that applicable, so that's why I really didn't bring it up. But he had a 5th there. John Deere's, where he had an 8th. Valspar, Bermuda, he had the 13th. That was like his, like I said, that May to June, July, really good run. There's the Amex and everything pretty well, except, didn't putt that great or could have done better. Valero, that is Bermuda. Corrales is past Palm. RSM, that is Bermuda. So anyways, it's golf, right? These guys, as I said, it's a bit of a roller coaster. That's what makes the elite, that they do it more consistently than everybody else. Where you get down to these guys, it's up and down, up and down. Cut, a T15, cut. So, but if you want to, take a flyer on him, he's not going to be my top 5, but I've been on him, and I think he still could come back and at least make the cut, get you top 20, top 30. Cameron Young, another, I mentioned this in the pick show that you're going to see me seeing talent, even though we don't have a large data sample, but we have enough data sample on these guys now to know who is performing at enough that we might want to play them. And like I said, if they get on a hot streak like Davis Riley here, or Dylan Wu, where they, make 10 cuts in a row and they're, 50th or better, the price tag is going to start to go up. So get them while you can, at this price. Where was I just talking about? Cameron Young. Yeah. So you see he makes a lot of birdies, good showdown player. And he's feast or famine, right? Again, cut T2, cut T29. So he's actually on the flip side of that. He's due to make a cut. Everything is good here, except the approach is a little off with his irons. Hudson Swafford, I wasn't really on him so much last week, but he did make the cut. And I just wanted to be a little different. I knew he was going to be so chalky for the Sony at that price he was at. But when I look at what we have from a field and what's down here below 7,000, he's won back here in 2017. His last 4 out of his 5 tournaments, he's made the cut, and he's getting around. You can see pretty consistent T30ish. There's nothing I can say why you wouldn't want to play him. He's been really good tee to green. It's just if the putter pops or not, right? So Let's see here. Yeah, when he missed a cut at RSM, it was the putter. Did well with the irons. And then if we look at where he's had some of his best putting, I just want to see if anything shows up. Let's do it this way. Where's that his best? So again, the win at the Amex, one at Corrales, as I mentioned, past Palm, which I think is pretty close to Bermuda. Palmetto kind of came back on that Sunday and charged. That is Bermuda. The Sony's Bermuda. So again, a lot of Sony. So that was also his showing at the Sony was also why he was going to be super chalky. But I like Hudson Swafford, Tyler McCumber. This is kind of a, I don't know, I think a little contrarian if you're down here. 6,600, less than 3% projected ownership. Made the cut both times he's here. Just had a T4 at RSM, which is kind of funny because I don't, I think of Tyler McCumber, I think a guy that drives the ball really long off the tee, but pretty good short game. And also made a cut at the Zozo. But let's go look. What I thought was interesting. So you can see that he bangs it out there, 310 yards. So driving accuracy, the further you hit it, typically the accuracy is going to drop a little bit. But what I thought was interesting is where he's had some of his best finishes. Of course, the RSM, but there's the Sanderson Farms, Wyndham. Wyndham's a short track. Corrales quite a few times. The Players, Pete Dye, the Honda, the Amex again. So I just saw some correlation there that, this possibly could fit him. So I like him from, again, is it just a different option down here. The Duff Daddy, of course, past winner here. I don't remember what year. I'll look. But good ball striker. And the reason why I put him in here is because he did have a nice little run there. So let's see here. Since July 11th, he made every cut up till he missed a cut at the Bermuda end of October. So you can see all green. It's the putter. He's a terrible putter. But if the putter does pop, which is kind of funny, he actually gained strokes with the putter at the Houston on Bermuda, but did not do well with the irons. And typically, like I said, just a really good ball striker. So could be an interesting play. Wes Bryant, again, if you want like a condom play, a safe play, he's made the last 5 cuts. He's got a couple, T25, T26, T27 now. Some weaker fields, but that's RBC. Great comp course. So you got Bermuda, I think Bent and Bent. I could look. But, I think, like I said, Kyle Stanley and him just remind me of each other. He does everything after he gets off the tee well. So drives the ball, over 300, but the driving accuracy is not the greatest. But pretty good putter over the life of his career. You can just see a snapshot of his career, 76 events. He gains with the irons, around the green good, and putting. And I kind of mentioned his past, current, recent. So, I mean, if you take the year that he played since, the start of January, he missed a cut twice. That's it. He didn't play a ton. I think he was hurt. I don't know if it was a wrist injury. I forgot now. But, and then again, he won at RBC back in 2017. Pete Dye. John Deere, small track. You got to keep it in play around there. But that is bent greens. But as the playability, there's some applicability. That's a mouthful. The Honda, I think it's a good comp course. Valspar, Bermuda. There again to John Deere. Sanderson Farms, Bermuda. I think there is correlation. I mentioned Travelers, Pete Dye. Make what you want with that. I don't think it's a great fit. RBC again. So again, I like Wes Bryant, and that's our last of my favorites. So I'm just going to give you these last 4 guys pretty quickly, then we're going to move on. Tyler Duncan, right? I think he shot 8 under at the Sony. Literally, it was crazy. He shot like 8 under. I think he was in second going into the next, Friday, and then shot like a 75. So that's why they're down here. But, you can see he had 3 made cuts, 2 missed cuts recently. But like I said, at the Sony, if he wouldn't have just totally just fell apart, no reason he shouldn't have made the cut. Also, played here 4 times. He's made a cut 3 in a row. There was something also about Tyler Duncan that I liked. Drives the ball accurate 70%. That's good. Let me click on this. Okay, yeah. His only win was at RSM in 2019, which again, I think is a great comparable course. Not a Pete Dye, but it is a great comparable course. Trying to see anything else. There's John Deere popping up again, Sanderson Farms. AT&T Pro-Am, which not saying it's a comparable course. There might be some things that are comparable, short. But what I was going with that is the format that you got to be comfortable with playing with the amateurs for a few days. So anyways, Tyler Duncan, the Birdman, I'm literally throwing the bird in here just because he's made 4 of his last 5 cuts. He's played here maybe yeah. I'm gonna take this as he's played here 5 times, made the cut 3 out of 5. That's all I'm telling you. And this kind of fits the Birdman kind of course that he will make the cut. Out of him at 6,400 now, when we get to these like straight out of low cash picks, that's what I call these guys at the bottom. That is literally your expectations. Just I want to stack up top, and I want to get the guy through. I mean, if he top 30s, awesome. But if he just gets you 6 of 6 going into the weekend, then great. Brandon Hagee, I've got him in here. I don't. It's kind of funny. I don't think of him as a really good course fielder. I think of Hagee. I think a guy that can bang the ball pretty well off the tee, kind of with the irons, and so with the putter. But if you look over his last 5 events, made 3 cuts. He played here last year at a T21. So like if you played Brandon Hagee, and you got a T21, that's freaking awesome. Also, why he came to my mind was that he shot the low round for round 1 here last year. Hence, probably how he got that T21, and then kind of fell back. But yeah, made the cut 3 out of 5 times, and then I think I'm trying to remember the course. So there you go. I tell you, I mean, when you see Brandon Hagee, I think he looks like Dylan Fratelli. I think they're kind of doppelgangers. You would never guess that he can drive the ball the way he does, but he pounds it. Ben Green's, he's at least positive. He's positive on all surfaces, so not a terrible putter. You can see it's the irons, which that is something that I want here. But if he does have that spike week with the irons, so at the Honda this past March, right, he was the closest to Matt Jones. He came out, fired. I think he was. Well, no, Matt Jones was round 1 leader. Anyways, he did really well there. Good comparable course, and you can see he did that without really the irons. I mean, he was about neutral. Gained a ton off the tee, around the green, putting. Canadian Open, I mean, anytime you look at a course that you got to go low, that's the Canadian Open. So it is a little bit comparable on that side. I would guess they're bent greens. Yeah, Glen Abbey. Sanderson Farms, again, I mentioned the correlation. Valero, tough track. And that's where typically, like, I would like to play Brandon Hagee is on these kind of courses, Wells Fargo. But he also showed up, the Honda a couple times, 3 times. So, again, just someone to point out to you. And then if you're at the bare bones, it's Paul Bergeron, also just a Corn Ferry graduate. You can see made his last 3 out of 5 cuts. Made the cut at the Sony, missed cut at the RSM Houston Open, but did make the cut at Sanderson Fortinet. You see, he makes some birdies over the last 12 rounds. He's been making birdies, and he's all green and yellow in my modeling area, which means you're mid or above the pack. And let's go click on Barjon. He drives the ball pretty well too, averaging about 310. Driving accuracy is over 60%. That's pretty good when you're poking it out there that far. Green and reg 70. He did well at the Sony, like I said. That's kind of what also brought him to my attention again. You can see it's off the tee where he does his damage and can do some damage with the putter. The irons aren't but he gained with his irons at the Sony, hence, got that 48. I don't think he's got a ton. Huntsville, I just want to see where he had his win on the Corn Ferry on bent. But since he's been out on tour, so, we'll consider Barbasol his real first kind of PGA. He's had played in 6 tournaments and made the cut 4 of them. So again, if you are really trying to squeak someone at the bottom, I like him. All right, let's go look at ownership projections. Okay, so I've got this kind of sorted by chalkiest and going down. And we got a pretty good sample of data. You can see, I don't even care about that, but actual lineups generated is what we want to see, 5,400 of them. So that's enough data to give you a pretty good calculation. I always say this could go 2% up or 2% down. Number 1 chalkiest player, no shocker, Patrick Cantlay and John Rahm. So, and I think, in the GPP large games, now in the cash games and whatever you want to play, double ups and whatnot, you're going to have these guys, one or the other, or maybe both, depending on how you build. And then you can see it's a significant fall off, but it's those two. So where I was going with that is, if you want to kind of differentiate, at least in the GPP, you fade those 2 guys. And I'm saying you have to. I'm saying, I will put some lineups in to fade Cantlay and Rahm. with not that they are not going to, probably end up top 10, but hypothetically, let's just say one ends up like T30 and one ends up like T10. It could happen. It's golf. And this course, out of all the courses where guys from out of nowhere could show up, this is one of those kind of events. Also, you got to remember they're playing with amateurs for 3 days. It's really slow. I mentioned John Rahm and even Cantlay can't take advantage, but more Rahm. There's a lot of, you can't use a driver everywhere on this course. There's not forced carries, but forced layups or forced, where it makes you put a hybrid or an iron in your hand. I don't know why I can't think of what the hell I'm trying to say, but you get what I'm saying. So the next guy is Sunjam, which, I get that. Corey Connors, the Gooch. You got Seamus, Matthew Wolf. I'm actually kind of shocked Wolf's that high, but okay. Abraham Answer, I thought would literally be the third guy, third chalkiest. But I think some people see that he's not doing some of the Abraham Answer things. When I say that, sticking those irons within 10 feet a lot and making putts. Now, could he just turn it on? Yep, could happen. I mean, if you want to be a little unique, maybe you start your bills like, M Answer. Just an idea. Going down, I think Johnny Vegas is interesting. How high he is. Of course, he won here forever ago. I like I told you guys, if you could flip a quarter, I'm going with HV3 out of the two, and I think they're the same exact game. It's just cheaper play. That's my opinion. All the data kind of states that what their skill sets are states that, and they kind of even look like each other a little bit. So, Scotty Scheffler, Svensson, I think this is going to be a bust here, and I'm a fan of Adam Svensson. I think I talked to you guys about him. I used to play him in Showdown quite a bit back, like in 2019. He could just string 4 or 5 birdies together, and then if you watched what he does at the Sony, he can miss 4 or 5, 3-footers in a row. Like it's the putter that just kills him. So if he has a good putter, he could be live. But I think it wouldn't shock me to see him miss the cut. My Blackbeard, Michael Thompson. Some people are jumping on that train. It's almost up to 12%. It's kind of funny. I guess once you see a guy do well a couple times, everybody it's like, oh, I was on him way before that, even before the RSM. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, Luke List, why he's on the cover or my opening screenshot is that I think he's my Spidey Sense pick. I usually give you guys one of these every tournament. The guy that I don't think a lot of people are thinking about that could win this and doesn't even like register that he could be a good fit for this course. And I've got him pulled up here, and I'm going to show you why I think he's a good fit. Of course, like a Siwoo Kim, like a Corey Connors, all those guys, typically horrific putter. But if you look at where he's done well, there is a lot of comparable correlations. So the Honda, Bermuda, gained 5 strokes with the putter. Sanderson Farms, again, now these are a couple of dates that are a little old. I get that, but he's been around a little while. He gained with the putter on Bermuda. RBC, Pete Dye course, small track. You got to keep it around and play. He did everything really well, just, lost a little bit with the putter against the field. You got the John Deere. I think it's a good comparable course. It's not a big track. You just got to be very strategic in how you work yourself around there. Good ball strikers win there, hence Glover. Just this past year, RSM, great comparable course. So where I'm getting to out of this, of course, he had a good showing at Wells Fargo. He had a 6. Just he gained putts on Bermuda. This PGA that he gained, what was that? That was POA. But a short track. Well, par 70. I should not say Bethpage is short, but a par 70. So not a lot of areas to make hay. So anyways, also, if you just look at recent form, he just came off a 10th at the RSM. I already mentioned Bermuda, great comp course. He had 11th at the Houston Open. And lost 6 strokes putting. So think about that. If he has what he can do tee to green and just gains a stroke putting, he's going to be top 5. Mayakobe missed a cut, but we don't have enough data on it. And I don't remember exactly what happened. Zozo, I don't think it tells you what the greens are. I'm pretty sure it's bent, but I just don't have the answer to that. I'd have to go dig it. I'm not going to do it. Anyway, Sanderson Farms, Bermuda. So he's played good golf. So that's my Spidey's tingle. I got him at 100 to 1. I think he's at 65 to 1, but I bet him like right when it came out. And then the odds dropped. I think there was, I guess, some smart money that was coming in on it. But 65 to 1 still, you could throw a little bit on there if you like. Okay, let's move along. Adam Hadwin, 10%. Will Z10, I mean, he's another fade, so this is also my fade show. I'll be fading, Will Z until something tells me otherwise. But right now, everything tells me that I don't know, sophomore slump, or I don't know what's going on. To be honest, the putting was always a little off, but when he started to lose his irons a bit, that's what shocked me. Let's go look at that real quick. So you see driving accuracy below 60%. The putter's a little eh. Let me see. Where did he? So maybe I'm thinking like the Rocket Mortgage and a Charles Schwab when he lost that many strokes. He the last time you see here missed a cut at Mayakoba, which that's terrible because of that field that he was playing against. There's no excuse. Lost 4 strokes total at the Zozo. Made the cut, but it wasn't a cut. It was 80 guys, right? Off the top of my head, it's typically around 80 guys. No cut event. Ended up 54th. So his last 3 outings have been not good. Now, again, like everybody else, maybe he worked something out, flicks the switch, got confidence in his putter, and away he goes. Knox was one of my picks, like him. Henley's the one, like I said, I mentioned this, someone, questioned it, and you have all rights. He's the one I'm teetering on, like Cam Smith last week, where I was a little nervous of coming off. You could look at it as just like having a win. But I'm going to stick with him. I think this course does fit him, and recent form's really good. So Lucas Glover, just keep doing what you're doing, and he was one of my picks. Tony Finau, it's kind of interesting. He's a bit down here. All right, I'm going to move through these a little quicker, just let you guys see. Cameron Tringali, I'm interested in. He's at less than 7%. There's that Davis Riley, less than 7. Adam Long, getting a little bit of love, 7%. Sebastian Munoz, 6%. It's going to shock me that Denny McCarthy, because I was all over him last week, comes out and has a really good showing. I will have to sprinkle in some Denny McCarthy. I did not bet him, but I just have a feeling. It just happens to me all the time. So Dylan Wu, got Brendan Steele, 5%, and my CT Pan call, 3.5%. The Shankster, 3%. Wes Bryant, 3%. Just scanning through real quick. Patty Gazire, no love for my Brokeback guy, about 1%. So there you go. Peter Uihlein for a little bit there had a little uptick, and then has kind of struggled recently. Some people like Sahith. I'm not a fan yet. Probably doesn't help that at the time that I got the most coverage of him, he was just snap hooking the ball. I think he came out, I cannot remember what tournament this is now. Came out, he was in, I don't know, say contention or whatever, up there in the leaderboard Thursday, Friday, and then just fell apart. So that might be stuck in my brain, but not on him. Just trying to see if there's anybody. Wyndham Clark. I wanted to kind of let's talk real quick about Wyndham Clark. Because he kind of fits to some degree a Luke List. Now, he's got elite distance, bad accuracy, but he's actually a pretty good putter. So that's the difference. And in Luke List is way better with his irons. Not even a contingent. But so what he does typically is, typically gains on the tee, but you can see he's struggled with that and gains the putter. So that's what I wanted to look at. I didn't know how he did it at the RSM, but it was all, look at that. Gained almost 9, well, we'll call it 8.5 strokes, but lost everywhere else. So it looks like somewhere he lost his irons, because he was a pretty good ball striker. Just trying to see here. Let me see where he's done. Yeah, Bermuda was the last time I remember him being in contention. That was a while ago, but that is Bermuda Greens. The Honda, the Genesis, that one sticks out, but that makes sense on that course. But you can see, gain with the irons, gain. So all I was getting to, he might, what are they charging for a Wyndham Clark? 6,900. Somehow I skated over him, but yeah, I don't know. It's an idea. Maybe if you want to build that aggressive off the tee lineup, like a Luke List, a Wyndham Clark, Rahm, Scheffler, Finau, something like that. that might be an idea. It's not the idea I think about this course, but who knows? We've seen that bombers have won here. As I mentioned, so has the plotters. So, all right, I think that's it. Let's see the 0%ers. I don't see anybody sticks out at the 0%. That no, not really. If I had to pick a 0%er to make the cut, I'd have to go with Brian Gay, who I think actually has won here. Yeah, that was a while ago. Let's see here. When did Brian Gay win the Amex? 2013. But that's what I think of the Amex. That's the guy. Just plot along, draining putts. You know, if I had to lean one way or the other, over the bombers, I would definitely go with the plotters. Okay, let's go look at the weather real fast and get you guys out of here. Okay, so let's jump over and take a look at the weather, and you're going to want to use Wind Finder as always stated, and I pulled up the closest point to the PGA West Stadium course. That is the Thermal Airport. That is what you want to use. There's another one on the other side of the course, but either one. I don't know the name of it. So there is some weather. This is looking at, this time would be Pacific time, California. Wednesday, we don't give a crap about. Thursday, fine. I don't think anything. I mean, maybe the afternoon guys, which is, I've done this before where the morning guys, it says they're going to have wind, and then you play the afternoon guys that never come. There's not enough there to make me worry about Thursday. Here's the problem, or what could cause an issue, and you got to keep an eye on this. You might want to look at the guys Friday morning. If you are stuck between the low level, cheap guys, you're trying to figure out who's going to make the cut, maybe you pick some of these guys, because the afternoon guys are gonna, they're gonna have some wind, and then Saturday, gusting up to 30 almost, average around 20. That is going to cause problems. So I also might, look at the wind players, if I do some showdown stuff. So, and then Sunday, not too bad. Nothing, I don't think anything crazy, but what we're seeing is that there is something that's going to be moving through that we're going to have to keep an eye on, especially if you play showdown. And like I said, if you want to remember, it's 3-day cut. So, if you want to get, try to pick some guys that are going to be teeing off in the morning. If you are kind of teetering on some guys, that might be a way to go. All right, let's go wrap this thing up and get you guys out of here. All right, to summarize my top value plays of 7K and below for you guys, I'm leading off with the Shank-eponymous, Mr. Shank, Adam Shank. Been doing well. Hopefully he gets back a little more to the Sunday form, but when you get down below 7,000, I think he's one of the safer plays, I would put it at. Good putter on Bermuda. CT Pan, of course, he won at RBC. He's done well on these kind of shorter tracks. He's a pretty steady play and can make some putts. Also, I think off the top of my head, didn't he win the bronze for the Olympics? I think he did. I'm trying to remember now. I remember it was a huge playoff. And I think if you looked at everyone that was in that playoff, CT Pan came out of it. So throw that in there while you want to play him. Oh, and he's 150 to 1 to bet him. I already did that. Hayden Buckley, I already mentioned, but just, Korn Ferry graduate, has been playing well. So for that price, just try him out. You got Wes Bryant, who's been playing good golf since he came back from the injury, as I mentioned. And, his price tag, I'm going to play him. Good putter, pretty good ball striker. And last but not least, Hudson Swafford, again, been playing well, good ball striker, made a lot of cuts. It's going to come down to the putter. Hopefully Hudson makes some putts. And then now for my one and done, and this took a bit, and I have still not come to a conclusion on who I'm going with yet for that Pat Mayo challenge. So, came out hot with Russ Henley, and now I got to figure out if I want to, well, we'll talk it through. So here we go. All right, so the first guy that, of course, I think a lot of people are going to be looking at is Abraham Ancer, right? Great track record here, best track record recently on Pete Dye courses. Of course, should fit him. The problem is two problems. One is I don't think his irons and his putter has been where we want them. So I'm not sure how well he'll do here. Like I said, I did not make him a top 15 pick. And the other is we have a new tournament coming, the Mexico Open, which him and Carlos Ortiz are definitely going to be a part of. And I'm not sure how many guys we're going to get from the PGA that are going to want to go over there. I have no idea what the field is going to look like. And the course, I did look it up. I don't have it's a new course, at least from a data perspective. I think it's 7,200 yards. So it, just from a bird eye view, it looks like it fits Ancer. So what I'm getting to is I might want to play him there. Typically what I've seen with Abraham Ancer is, when he plays WGC Mexico's, whatever, he plays better. He really wants to go out there and do well. So I think I'm going to try to save him for that. Is where I'm going. That was a long-winded statement, but yeah, and I just don't think his form is where I want it right now. But he could definitely come out and do well. So who knows? Sun JM is kind of where I'm leaning. You know, great ball striker, right? I mean, and typically putts well on Bermuda. He just did not putt well at all at the Sony. So, and I've seen him go from one tournament where he can't make a 3-footer. I think if I remember off my head, I played him at Sanderson Farms. I don't know if it was last year or the previous year. And a guy drove me literally nuts on how many opportunities he had and just kept missing 3 to 4 footers. So I've also then seen the next week and he comes out and he drains everything. So we're going to hope for that if we play him in one and done. Just get the putter right. The Gooch, I will save him probably for me to a course more like a Genesis or Quail, somewhere that's a tougher track. That's where I like to play Gooch. Now, he just won the RSM, but his form has been kind of like teetering. I think he's just played a lot of golf. I kind of stated this why I didn't pick him. This course fits, or he could do very well here. No issues. But his putter went a little kind of south. When he won at the RSM, he gained a ton with his putter. But yeah, I just think of him a guy that I want that has some distance off the tee, but really good with the long irons in the woods. That's, I think, a Gooch. But could be a great player. And then I put Russ Henley in here. I already used him, so of course I can't use him. But if you didn't use him yet, the guy's been playing amazing golf. And I know, again, we already talked about this. He has multiple missed cuts here. But, if you just look at course fit and recent form, and this guy should do well here. And if you go on the narrative of, well, I don't like his course history, and also he just, lost in a playoff, which, I see both arguments, but I'm just saying, when are you going to maybe have Russ at this peak of his game and want to use him again on a short Bermuda course? So just a thought. And then, nothing too crazy. Of course, Adam Hadwin's got the best, course history fit. Of course, his game has not been the best. But his course history is, exemplary. I mean, nobody else he rates out top one in this field over the last 5 years. So, Adam Hadwin. And then, like I said, if you want to be a little contrarian, a little sneaky, I don't know what you want to use. I'm literally thinking of using Luke List. I'm not lying. So he's not on here. I'm not saying do it because I don't want you guys, if he misses the cut. But in my own mind, it's so early in the season, right? We're in tournament 2 and we've got like, I don't know, 40, little less than 40 tournaments, I think, if I remember correctly. And, you got to save your shots. You got the FedEx playoffs, you got 4 majors, you've got the players, you got the big tracks like, Arnold Palmer API, Quail, Genesis. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm just trying to not spin it all. So I might be, it's probably between M and Luke List. Maybe even Adam Hadwin, but I don't know if I feel secure enough to do that. All right, that's my one and done. And that is it for me. So again, guys, thank you for stopping by, spending the time with me. Hit that like button if you like it. Share with anybody else that might be interested. And again, we are 16 subscribers away. So my subscribe base has been with me. I need your guys' help. Let's get this thing to 1,000 and hit that subscribe button. And also let's get that money out and get some winners. Or if I can help you with anything, hit me up on YouTube comments or on Twitter, and I will talk to you guys later. All the best of luck to us this weekend. I picked Cam Smith. I picked Henley, so we were close. I'm feeling good that we've had a really nice start. All right, guys. Good luck this weekend. Talk to you later.